The morning light spilled over the academy grounds, but the atmosphere was tense. News about the quiet girl from the death world had spread fast. Whispers floated in the hallways and training rooms. Many students were still shocked that someone, so calm and still, could defeat Darek, the strongest warrior in the academy. Some doubted it was real. Others felt uneasy, sensing something unusual about her power. Darek himself was furious. He trained harder than ever, his pride hurt badly by the silent defeat. But more than anger, he felt confusion. How could a person who didn't even move beat him? It was impossible in his eyes. He wanted answers, and a chance to prove himself again. Today, the academy held a special combat class, where students practiced new techniques. The instructor was strict and watched carefully as pairs sparred. When the girl entered the room, everyone fell silent. She moved slowly and calmly to her place but did not speak or show any sign of excitement. The class began with warm-ups, but all eyes were on her. Darek stood nearby, muscles tense, waiting for his chance. Suddenly, the instructor announced a surprise challenge. You will face the strongest opponent you can. Today, Darek will challenge anyone brave enough to face him. A murmur spread across the room. Most students avoided eye contact. No one wanted to face Darek again so soon. But the girl stepped forward calmly. Darek's face tightened. You? Again? Are you sure you want to lose twice? He said, his voice full of mocking. Laughter. The girl said nothing. She simply stood across from him, her eyes steady and focused. The rules were simple. No weapons, only hand-to-hand combat. The fight was to test control, not just strength. The moment the fight began, Darek attacked with everything he had. He moved fast, trying to confuse and overwhelm her. But she didn't move her feet. Her body stayed still, almost as if rooted to the ground. Darek's attacks came closer and closer, but each time, she barely shifted her position, just enough to avoid his strikes without any big movements. Her eyes never left his. The class watched in silence, holding their breath. How was this possible? How could she avoid every blow while barely moving? Frustrated, Darek shouted, "Why don't you fight? Are you scared to lose again?" The girl's face remained calm. Then, slowly, she raised a hand and touched his shoulder. It was a soft, almost invisible touch. Suddenly, Darek's muscles locked. His arm froze in place, and his body stiffened. A shock ran through the room. Darek couldn't move. He struggled but was trapped by some strange force. The girl's eyes glowed faintly, and the room felt colder. No one had seen anything like this before. With a quiet strength, she pushed lightly, and Darek fell to the ground, defeated once more. The instructor stepped forward, nodding in approval. This is the true power of focus and control. The Deathworlder does not fight with strength alone. She uses the mind and energy to control the battle. Darek looked up, shocked and angry, but he could not deny her skill. After the fight, students surrounded the girl, eager to learn more about her secret, but she only said, "On my world, we learn to control the energy inside us. Movement is not always needed to win." The day ended with a mixture of awe and fear. The girl was no longer just a newcomer. She was a mystery that everyone wanted to understand. Little did they know, this silent power was only a glimpse of what she truly possessed. The Deathworlder's strength was deeper and darker than anyone imagined, and soon, the whole academy would face challenges that would test every limit. ChatGPT said, "The next day dawned with heavy clouds hanging low over the academy, as if nature itself sensed the storm about to break. The students gathered for their daily combat drills, but the energy was different. The quiet girl from the death world had become the center of attention, and rumors swirled through the halls like wildfire. Commander Vera, the academy's lead instructor, called the students to formation. "Today, we test not just strength, but strategy and mind," she announced. "Each of you will face a new challenge, and Deathworlder, you will show us more of your skill." The girl said nothing but nodded slightly. Her calm was unshaken, even as eyes bore into her from every side. Darek approached her, his face a mixture of pride and burning need to redeem himself. "I won't lose to you again," he muttered, his voice low. "This time, I'll break your calm." The class began with standard drills. Students paired off, exchanging blows and learning to read each other's moves. But all eyes returned to the girl and Darek, waiting for their next encounter. Suddenly, a new challenge was announced. You will fight in the arena. No rules. Use every skill you have. This is a test of survival and will. The students gasped. The arena was a dangerous place filled with traps and challenges. Few had ever survived without serious injury. The girl stepped forward without hesitation. Her expression was steady. She didn't speak, but moved like a shadow as she entered the arena. Darek followed, his muscles tense and eyes full of determination. This fight was different. There would be no mercy. The battle began with a clash of wills. Darek charged with raw power, swinging fists and feet with deadly force. The girl moved like water, flowing, adapting, and avoiding every attack with ease. She didn't just dodge, she anticipated his moves, reading his mind before he even acted. The arena shifted around them. Fire traps, spikes, and shifting walls tested their skill and focus. Darek struggled against the deadly environment, but the girl seemed connected to the place, her movements graceful and confident. As the fight reached its peak, Darek found an opening and launched a heavy strike, but the girl vanished like a ghost, reappearing behind him. Without a single punch or kick, she touched his back lightly. A wave of energy passed through him, freezing his muscles. Darek fell to his knees, powerless and breathless. The crowd watching through the arena's viewports was stunned silent. Commander Vera's voice echoed, "This is the art of the Deathworlder. Control without force. Calm without weakness." The girl stood tall, her eyes calm but burning with hidden fire. She had shown the academy a new way to fight, one where silence was the greatest weapon. Later, as the students left the arena, many whispered about her strange power. Some felt inspired, others feared what such control could mean. But the girl said nothing about her secret. She only prepared silently for the battles yet to come, knowing that her true strength was still hidden deep inside. The academy had changed forever, and so had the story of the Deathworlder girl. The days that followed were filled with quiet tension. The academy buzzed with talk about the Deathworlder girl, but she remained distant, observing everything with steady eyes. No one knew much about her past or the strange power she wielded, but everyone could feel that something extraordinary was hidden beneath her calm surface. Darek was determined to learn from his defeat. He spent long hours training alone, pushing his body and mind to the limit. Yet every time he tried to mimic the girl's stillness or control, it slipped away like sand through his fingers. His pride demanded victory, but his curiosity grew stronger. One afternoon, the academy's commander called a special meeting. "We face a new threat," she said gravely. "An enemy fleet approaches our sector, stronger than any we have seen before. We must prepare every fighter, every ship, every skill. The Deathworlder girl and Darek, you will lead the first squadron." The room fell silent. This was the moment everyone had feared. Battle was coming. The girl nodded calmly, but did not speak. Darek clenched his fists. He would prove himself not just to her, but to the entire academy. Together, they gathered their squadron, a mix of the academy's best and eager new recruits. The girl's quiet confidence steadied the group, while Derek's fiery determination inspired them. As the squadron prepared to leave, the girl walked quietly to the armory. She stood before the ancient weapons, relics from forgotten wars. Among them, a sleek, dark blade called the Shadow Fang caught her eye. She picked it up, feeling its cold weight. "This blade is more than steel," she whispered to herself. "It is a link to my world, to the power I must master." The squadron launched into space, engines roaring against the silent void. The stars blurred past as they raced to intercept the enemy. Inside the ship, tension crackled like electricity. Everyone was ready for battle, but none could predict what awaited them. The girl sat quietly in the command chair, eyes closed, focusing. The energy inside her pulsed like a quiet storm. Suddenly, alarms blared. The enemy fleet had appeared. On the sensors, massive ships, dark and deadly, blocking the path forward. Darek's voice broke the silence. "This is it. Stay sharp. Follow my lead." The girl opened her eyes, calm and clear. She stood and faced the squadron. Trust your mind, not just your strength. We fight with control. The battle was about to begin, and everything they had learned would be tested in ways they never imagined. The Deathworlder girl was no longer just a mystery. She was their hope, the key to survival in a galaxy ready to tear itself apart. ChatGPT said, the battle began with sudden fury. Explosions lit up the blackness of space as the squadron raced toward the enemy fleet. Laser beams cut through the void, striking ships with deadly precision. The air inside the command ship was thick with tension and the sounds of urgent commands. Darek shouted orders, his voice sharp and commanding. Focus fire on the lead cruiser. Don't let them break our line. The squadron moved as one, attacking with skill and courage. But the enemy was strong. Larger ships fired heavy weapons that shook the smaller vessels. Many fighters were damaged or destroyed. Through it all, the Deathworlder girl remained calm. She moved slowly to the control panel, her fingers gliding over the buttons with purpose. Then she closed her eyes, concentrating deeply. A strange energy filled the room, almost like a soft hum vibrating through the ship. The crew felt it too, a calm power that steadied their nerves and sharpened their senses. Suddenly, the enemy's lead cruiser faltered, its weapons shut down as if controlled by an unseen force. Confused, the enemy fleet hesitated. Darek glanced at the girl. What did you do? She opened her eyes, shining with quiet strength. I used what I learned from my world, the power to calm and control. We can stop this fight without more destruction. Darek shook his head, amazed but uncertain. It's not over yet. Stay ready. But the enemy fleet was already pulling back, retreating from the unexpected force that stopped their advance. The squadron pressed forward, taking advantage of the moment to push the enemy far away. After the battle, the squadron returned to the academy, victorious but wary. The students and commanders crowded around the Deathworlder girl, eager to learn her secret. She smiled softly and said, True strength is not just power or speed. It is control of the body, mind, and spirit. That is what makes a warrior unbeatable. Darek looked at her with new respect. I want to learn from you, he said quietly. The girl nodded, and for the first time, she spoke words full of promise. Then you must be patient. The path is long, but together, we will be stronger than ever. The galaxy had seen only the beginning of the Deathworlder girl's power. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. A new kind of warrior had arrived, and she would change the fate of all who lived among the stars. ChatGPT said, the days after the battle were filled with quiet preparation. The academy was alive with new energy, hope sparked by the victory. But the calm was fragile. Everyone knew the enemy would return, stronger and more determined. The Deathworlder girl spent her time training with Darek and the other students. She taught them lessons not just of fighting but of control. How to calm the mind, feel the flow of energy, and use stillness as a weapon. Her methods were different, but the results were clear. Students who struggled before began to move with confidence and precision. One evening, as the sun set behind the academy's tall towers, the girl stood alone looking at the stars. Memories of her harsh homeworld, the death world, floated in her mind. The endless battles, the silence before the storm, the need to survive by mastering oneself. Commander Vera approached quietly. You have changed this place, she said softly. The old ways were strong, but your way, it is something new. Something the galaxy needs. The girl nodded but said nothing. She knew the real test was yet to come. Suddenly the ship's alarms blared again. A message flashed across the screen. Enemy forces were gathering near the outer colonies. This time, it was no small raid. It was a full-scale invasion. The academy prepared for war. Ships were readied, weapons loaded, and soldiers trained. The Deathworlder girl stood at the front, calm and ready. Darek came to her side. We've come far, he said. But this fight will be the hardest yet. She smiled faintly. Then we fight not with anger or fear, but with control. We fight as one. The squadron launched into space once more, united and strong. The galaxy trembled, but in the silence of the stars, a new legend was rising. A legend born from stillness, control, and the quiet power of the Deathworlder girl. Their story was only beginning, and the fate of many hung in the balance. But one thing was certain: the galaxy would never forget the name of the girl who fought without moving, who silenced the greatest warriors, and who stood calm in the face of war. The sun was just rising over the sprawling academy built on the edge of the human colony. The combat training grounds buzzed with the sounds of students moving, weapons clashing, and instructors shouting orders. This academy was known across the galaxy for making the best fighters. Every year, new recruits arrived, ready to prove themselves. Today, a new student came. She was quiet, calm, and different. No one knew much about her except that she came from a death world, a planet known for its deadly creatures, harsh weather, and unforgiving landscape. Life there was a daily fight for survival. The colony leaders had brought her here, hoping she would add new strength to the academy. The girl walked slowly toward the training field. She didn't wear flashy armor or carry heavy weapons like others. Her eyes looked steady and clear, but she said nothing. Some students stared, whispering to each other. "She looks weak," one said. Another laughed. "Why is she even here if she doesn't fight?" The academy's top warrior, a tall, muscular young man named Darek, noticed her immediately. Darek was proud and confident. He was known for beating every opponent without breaking a sweat. Today, he was showing off to a group of students, telling them how unbeatable he was. When he saw the new girl sitting quietly on the bench, his smile turned into a smirk. "Look at her," he said loudly. "She's just sitting there like she doesn't belong. I bet she couldn't last 5 minutes in a real fight." His words made some students laugh, and others looked curious. The girl did not react. She just kept watching. The training instructor, a stern woman named Commander Vera, called everyone to attention. "Today we begin the new cycle of combat. Drills. Everyone will pair up and fight. Show your skill and control. This is not just about strength. It is about mind and body working together." The students paired up quickly. Some were eager to test their skill, others nervous. The new girl stood alone for a moment until Commander Vera called her name. "You will face Darek," she said. A hush fell over the field. No one expected the quiet newcomer to fight the top warrior. Darek stepped forward, flexing his muscles and cracking his knuckles. He smiled at the girl and said, "You don't even know how to move, do you? This will be easy." The girl said nothing. She simply took her place in the circle. The rules were simple. No weapons, hand-to-hand combat only. The fight would last until one person was unable to continue or admitted defeat. The crowd gathered, close, ready for the show. Darek moved first, charging with speed and power. His punches came fast, aimed to overwhelm. But the girl didn't dodge or block. She stayed still, almost like she was frozen in time. Some students gasped. How could she stand there and not even try to defend herself? Darek's punches hit air. The girl's calm eyes followed every move. Suddenly, as if guided by a force invisible to others, she shifted just enough to let his arm pass, but her body did not move. Darek stumbled, surprised, losing his balance. The crowd went silent. The top warrior was confused and angry. He tried again, throwing stronger and faster punches, but each one missed. The girl's calm silence seemed to block him. She was like a shadow, unseen and untouchable. As the fight went on, it became clear she was not just sitting still because she was weak. She was waiting, watching, learning. Darek, frustrated, shouted, "Move! Fight me! Stop standing there like a statue!" But the girl's only answer was her steady breath and calm eyes. Then, without any warning, she touched his wrist lightly. It was not a strike, not a push, just a gentle touch. Darek's arm froze, and before he could react, she twisted it, making him fall to the ground. The field exploded with cheers and gasps. No one had expected this silent victory. Darek lay on the ground, shocked and defeated. Commander Vera stepped forward, nodding. "This is the way of the Death World. Strength is not just force. It is control, calm, and focus. This girl is a reminder of that truth." The girl stood up quietly, She looked around at the students, now staring with respect and a little fear. She said nothing. Her silence was her power. Later, when the training ended, some students approached her, curious and cautious. "How did you do that?" one asked. She smiled faintly, but only said, "On my world, fighting is about mind, not just body." That night, the academy buzzed with stories about the silent girl who defeated the best warrior without moving. Questions filled the air. Who was she? What secrets did her death world hold? And what would happen next? Unknown to all, the girl held a secret deeper than anyone imagined. She was not just a fighter. She was a weapon born from the harshest world, in the galaxy. And her silence was only the beginning. As the stars shone bright above, the quiet newcomer sat alone, calm and still, but ready for whatever challenges would come next. The legend of the Deathworlder girl had only just begun.